In today's video, I'm gonna be reviewing the Sigma 24-70 mm lens f2.8 DGOS HSM for Nikon mount. I'm gonna be showing you some sample pictures that we took with it. We've been using this specific lens with our Nikon D600, which is an old full frame camera, as well as, just give you my opinion about this lens. So let's not take much time, let's get right into it. What's up guys, my name is Sam from Lab Production Tips and Tools. If you're new here, consider subscribing and let's navigate the live streaming and video world together. This is a full frame lens from Sigma that was made for Nikon F mount. It has a maximum aperture of 2.8 constant from 24 up to 70 mm. It has a minimum aperture of f22. Obviously, the lens has 14 groups and 19 elements, and it has a filter thread of 82 mm in case you want to use some ND filter with it. It weighs about 1020 grams, or let's say around 1 kilogram. So we have been using this lens again, as I said, with our Nikon D600. Actually, my friend who's a photographer is the one who's been using it, so not really me, but I got to use it and test it too as well, taking a few pictures here and there. And actually I was impressed. This lens is supposed to be a high quality lens. As of the recording, obviously the lens cost around $1,300 US, depending on where you buy it from. So when you buy it from Sigma, you're gonna receive it in a nice package, as you can see, and obviously it's gonna be well covered, 2 lens caps, and you're gonna get a lens hood as well. So that's all you get in the bag, and obviously the bag itself. This is what the lens looks like. Again, it has autofocus and manual focus. I actually tried it on the old Nikon D600 and the autofocus is amazing. Usually this camera does not have a very good autofocus, but when you pair with this lens, the autofocus is really on point. The camera seems not to be struggling that much, so I don't know if it's because of the lens, because some lenses I put on that camera tend to be struggling, and the camera seems to be really stressed. It's a constant aperture from 24 to 70. So as you zoom in, you're gonna keep the same aperture, and it's gonna give you really good depth of field. Again, it's not made for like super tight portraits with this tight depth of field or blurry background, but it's gonna give you a decent okay background. Okay, again, if you want like super tight backgrounds, I say for portraits, maybe a 70 to 200 or something like a 50 1.8 aperture could give you better. But other than that, I like the fact that the lens is super sharp. I would tell you, the lens is super sharp, and the material itself, well, it kind of feels a little plasticky, so it's not super solid, but it's kind of smooth and sharp. The lens itself is kind of sharp, so kind of smooth as well. So that's really good, and it really does feel good. Another thing I'll tell you, obviously, apart from having the option to turn on autofocus and manual focus, you also have optical image stabilization that comes with the lens, that you have an option to actually turn it on or turn it off. As you can see, the focusing ring is kind of smooth, but not that smooth, so you kind of have to put in some effort to kind of spin it. The zoom, same thing, it's not super smooth, which I think is perfect for me. Again, you don't want too smooth because you don't want to hit it by accident and start focusing or defocusing. At the same time, you don't want it too hard because it's gonna take your energy, especially if you're shooting weddings all day, so you don't have that much energy to spend. So again, personally, I feel like it's perfect. It's the way it is, man. I like it. Just to give you an idea, this is how big it is with the zoom and the hood attached to it. so it's not really super big, but it's kind of heavy though. I would say that it's kind of heavy, so it's not a lightweight lens, you know, but it's not that bad, you know. It's not like super heavy. You know, at the end of the day, it's a good quality lens. It's gonna give you some amazing pictures. Now, would this be a lens that I recommend 100% if you can afford this lens? It's an amazing lens and you're not gonna regret it. So what are the things that I don't like about the lens? Obviously, it's a little pricey depending on, you know, if you can afford it or not. It's over $1,000, so it's not really that cheap. It's not anyone who can afford this. That's one. The second thing that I don't like about the lens, it's really heavy. Let's acknowledge it. It's not a lightweight lens, so depending on the body that you have, it's gonna be some weight added to your body. So again, keep it in mind. If you are used to using the 70 to 200 mm lenses, then this is not gonna make a big difference, because those lenses usually they are super heavy as well. But other than that, the image quality is amazing. As you can see, just showing you some samples that we took, you can see that the pictures look amazing. They're very sharp. The contrast and everything, you know, the details, you know, there. And of course, you still get the depth of field, even though it's not like super wow for portraits. Again, this is not made for portraits. It's made for, more like wide, medium stuff, for group pictures, because you're coming from 24 to 70. So you can still do some portraits with this lens, you know, somewhere around like 50 to 70-ish kind of thing, because it's a full frame lens. I see this lens being used for like really like a multi-purpose kind of lens, just using it for group pictures, but at the same time get to zoom, especially if you have one body, get to zoom in sometimes and get some portraits. Are we happy with the lens? I think the lens is fantastic. So 100% I recommend this lens if you can afford it. It's compatible with APS-C sensor. That's what they say on the website, even though it's more for photography or advertised for photography. This lens can still be used for video and it still looks good. If you have questions or you've been using this lens and you like it or you hate it, make sure you put it down in the comments. But other than that, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Make sure you check out the review that I did about the Nikon D600, which is a camera under $500 that you may consider as a second body, especially if you only have one body. It's a full frame camera with 24.3 megapixels, so it's a fantastic camera for pictures. So I'll make sure I link it at the end so you can watch it if you are interested. Other than that, I'll see you guys on my next video. Take care.